at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Everyone out there, and happy Monday to you. It's a little bit damp outside, but I hope everyone is having a great start to their day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host for today, and joining me as my special guest is Dr. Karen McDaniel from Arkansas State University from the College of Business. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Just fine. I'm so very happy to have you here with me.
Well, thank you for having me.
Let me turn this microphone up just a little bit. Okay. And so today we're going to be talking about interviewing 101. We're going to go over quite a few interviewing tips. And this is very fitting since Arkansas State University just had their summer commencement.
Oh, yes.
So congratulations to all the graduates out there. They're going to be looking for jobs soon. So
yes.
I hope that they're listening, or someone's out there listening and watching our live. We are streaming live on Facebook, so if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop your messages and we'll be happy to address them at that time. All right, so Dr. Karen, let's get started. I don't know if there's any one place to really get started, but you said you recently attended an event. So can you tell us more about the event that you attended, so then that we get into some of the topics?
Sure. Well, actually, several years ago, I got certified by the Protocol School of Washington in D.C. So they do a lot of training for the military on proper protocol. They do dining etiquette, interview skills, and then I recently went back this summer to do some training on protocol in a cross-cultural context.
Okay.
So I've kind of made a list today to kind of give you a little information about before you go on an interview, what you need to know, and then during the interview and after the interview.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about, I know I gave you a list. I'm just going to, I guess, start from head to toe. Let's talk about hair and makeup. I know they're fairly two different categories, but they're very important because it's kind of the first thing someone sees. They, when they're greeting you, they look in your face and they shake your hand. So hopefully they're looking upwards.
Yes, exactly. If you don't mind, let me back up one step.
No problem.
So we're going to assume today that you have submitted your resume in the application process and you've been called in for a face-to-face interview. Okay. So according to the Protocol School of Washington, this is your formula for success. It takes 5 seconds to make a first impression.
Oh, wow.
5 seconds. So while you should be judged on your innate worth, it's that first 5 seconds that determines whether or not you're going to be able to reveal your worth. So that's why your hair and makeup and so forth for ladies, and we'll talk about men also, is so important. It takes 21 days to start a pattern.
Okay.
So you need to practice new skills. So what we learned today, you need to practice it for 21 days.
Okay.
It takes 100 days for it to become automatic.
Wow.
So this new pattern will become automatic after you practice it. Okay?
Oh, my goodness.
So typically when you go into an interview, are you calm or are you nervous?
Most people are pretty nervous. Yeah.
So
anxious.
Here is how to ban the butterflies.
Okay.
Never again think or say nervous.
Okay.
Just get it out of your mind.
So go in with the attitude, that I'm gonna, rock this, or I'm gonna
You're
kill
going to be
this.
confident.
Okay.
Just go in with confidence. Dr. Amy Cuddy has a video, if you search on YouTube, about the power pose, and it talks about how the certain power pose will create your hormones to send confidence to your brain. It's really interesting. You just search on YouTube,
Okay.
Dr. Amy Cuddy. But use positive visualizations about yourself and talk positive to yourself. I can do this. We're going to accomplish this. I've done my research about the company beforehand. So
Okay.
once you've been called in for that face-to-face interview, you need to do your research on that company. Go to their website. Know their mission statement. Know who the people are. Who are you going to be interviewing with? What's their job title? Are they Mr.? Are they Mrs.? Are they Doctor?
Okay.
So know how to formally address them.
Okay, and when you mentioned about the positive words, of affirmation, I saw it's a deodorant commercial, and there's two young ladies in an elevator, and they're, one trying to keep their underarms dry, but they're speaking, these positive words about whatever they're about to present. So that's a perfect example of what you just said.
Yes.
That helps to drive it home.
A couple of more tips on nervous. Practice deep breathing.
Okay.
If you breathe in through your nose, say 6 seconds, hold it for 6 seconds, and then out, slow and easy. Just a lot of deep breaths will help you relax a little bit. But the most important is prepare.
Prepare. Yes, ma'am.
Know the job description, know
Okay.
the company, know the people you'll be interviewing with.
Oh,
Arrive a little early.
a lot early.
You do not want to be late. That's going to send a very bad first impression.
Okay.
So you've researched the company, you know the job description. Now let's talk about the appearance.
All right. Yes,
What
ma'am.
do you do in the first 5 seconds of meeting someone? You see their attire, you
Yes.
see how they present themselves, you want to look professional, and you shake hands. Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. We'll talk about eye contact, proper posture.
Yes.
But let's start with appearance guide for men.
Okay.
So men have it a little bit easier. They don't have as many things to be concerned about. But colors are important. When you go on an interview, typically, according to the Protocol School of Washington, you want to have power colors. So for men and women, a dark suit. Now you do need to keep in mind what type of job you'll be interviewing for. Right now I'm going to assume we're going for a professional
Yes.
job. And we can talk about other types of jobs a little later. But a dark black, navy, charcoal, you want a dominant color, power color.
Okay.
Typically you'd want to wear, for men, a white shirt with a nice tie.
Okay.
Not too loud, but a competent color, maybe a red or a blue. Okay, so kind of conservative though.
What about patterns of the tie? Some guys are into various patterns on their tie.
I would recommend a conservative tie.
Okay.
If it's a pattern, it's okay, but maybe not something that's going to stand out too much.
In your face.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just a nice tailored suit, conservative tie. Shoes need to be conservative, polished.
Okay.
You
Open or
probably-
closed toe?
Well, for men, you would have a closed shoe, like maybe a penny loafer.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I would presume that.
You might not want to wear a penny loafer, maybe a tie-up shoes, but for women, you would want closed-toed shoes.
Okay.
Not too high of a heel.
Okay.
High heels are okay. I typically wear flats. If they're nice, professional-looking
Okay.
flats, those are fine. So for men, jewelry, you can wear rings, but you don't want to go overboard. You want to have 3 or 4 rings.
Yes.
If you are a former athlete, you might not want to be wearing gigantic championship rings on the interview.
Okay.
Now, after you get the job, it might be slightly different. Lapel pins are fine. You see I have on my upside down ribbon today. Maybe a tie bar and so forth.
Okay.
Now for ladies, a little different story. Because ladies like to wear a lot of jewelry. We
Yes,
like
I know.
rings, bracelets, earrings.
A whole 9 yards.
Yes. So for ladies, I recommend smaller jewelry. If you wear earrings, that's fine. But I would recommend small hoops
Okay.
or maybe some kind of stud earrings.
Okay.
I would avoid bracelets or large necklaces. Just keep it small and simple because you don't want the focal point to be your jewelry. You want it to be you.
Okay. So nothing big and clunky around your wrist is going to make a lot of noise.
Exactly, or be distracting. Because you don't want the person who's interviewing you to focus on your jewelry.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Now, according to the Protocol School of Washington, glasses have a tendency to make people look more intelligent. So maybe I should wear my glasses today.
Oh goodness, well, mine are for I have to have glasses.
Yes, well, some people don't like to wear glasses, but according to the Protocol School of Washington, it can make you be perceived as a little more intelligent.
All right, so go pick up your pair of reading glasses or just a little fake non-prescription glasses.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, the quality of suit. Let's talk about that for men and women. You just want a nice looking suit. It doesn't have to be a high dollar suit. You just want one that looks nice and professional.
Okay. So doesn't you have to go to Dillard's or Brooks Brothers or somewhere?
Well, a lot of my former graduate students have gone to places like Burlington Coat Factory. They say they have a lot of nice professional looking suits for young people who've been on a budget, just gotten out of school, and they don't have that first job yet.
Yes.
So TJ Maxx, Dillard's. I'm trying to think of some local places.
Well, even nowadays, some of the Goodwills and other secondhand or consignment shops, they have really nice stuff. They're gently used, and so you can find a lot of great things at the secondhand stores.
And if we have any Arkansas State College business students listening today, we have a career clothes closet in the College of Business.
Wow.
So Dr. Steve Leslie takes care of that for us, and students have to have gone to our career services. They have to have had a resume approved by career services, and they bring that to Dr. Leslie, and they're allowed to get a suit for an interview, and then they're asked to get it dry cleaned before they bring it back.
That's a really great deal.
It is. It's really nice. There's a lot of nice suits in there for our young students. So students do have an option on, clearly, I remember being in school. You don't have much of a budget.
No, ma'am. You do good just to get some, get food and books.
So while we're talking about suits for women, I typically wear a pantsuit.
Okay.
I think that a pantsuit or a skirt suit is perfectly acceptable for women. My advice would be, if you wear a skirt, make sure it's long enough. Not a mini skirt, not something that's going to be slit too high up your leg, but a nice professional, decently skirt.
I'm glad you brought that up, because some women like to feel, well, a skirt below the knee is granted. That's old fashioned, but you have to look at the bigger picture of the matter. Also, I know this is some little young people are going to be turn their faces up, but pantyhose. Are pantyhose necessary for? And I know we're talking about on a professional level, professional office job. Are pantyhose necessary for an interview?
I would typically recommend wearing them. They just look a little bit, especially in the winter time.
Okay.
They just look a little bit more professional. But I typically wear pantsuits.
Okay.
If you have a really nice tan in the summer, it might be different. If you're a woman of color, your legs are already dark, so that's maybe a judgment call on pantyhose. But just typically, I would say probably wear them, because they look just a little bit like you've gone a little bit extra to look just a tiny bit much more presentable and professional. But you have to remember, and whoever's interviewing you probably has a stack of interviews.
Yes.
However tall, you want to be that little notch above. You want to be in that top 3 that they're calling and talking to and interviewing face to face, and you want to be that just a little bit notch above.
Okay.
So you can land that job. So another thing that we talked about, accessories for ladies and shoes. We talked about glasses a little bit. What about hair?
Yes, ma'am.
Hair for ladies is very important. If I were going on an interview today, I probably would have worn my hair back, or at least part of it pulled back, because my hair is really long.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want it getting in my face or in the way, or where I have to, get it out of the way, or I have, play with it and so forth. You don't want it to be in the way.
Okay.
So I'm not on an interview today for a job anyway.
No, ma'am.
But longer hair, typically you might want to wear it up or at least partially pulled back, just in case, because you might end up going on a lunch or dinner interview. Because sometimes, we may want to do another radio session on dining etiquette at some point.
Awesome.
A lot of interviewers want to take you out on a meal to see if you paid attention to the little things, because you're going to be representing their company, whatever your position is, right?
Yes, ma'am. Now, I do want to ask with the hair, of course, I wouldn't wear something like what I have on, a big, head wrap. But what about a neat headband? If you have, just say you're in between an awkward haircut and your bangs are still kind of, floppy and...
Yeah, and you wouldn't want bangs to be a distraction, and you wouldn't want them getting in your eyes. So I think if you find a conservative way, if you have a you wouldn't want a bright, pink and neon green and blue, but something that's nice and presentable, because you want to have a conservative looking hairstyle.
Okay.
Whatever it is. So shorter hair, tends to be above the shoulder. If it's below the shoulder, pull it back.
Okay.
The color. The Protocol School of Washington recommends a natural looking color.
Okay.
So maybe avoid bright blue or green or pink or so forth. That's okay in your personal life, but if you're going to get a job, you probably want to go for something a little more natural. It may not be your exact natural color, but a natural looking color.
Okay. So for you ladies who like to experiment with your hair, you might want to keep a wig or consider some extensions for the time being, just for the interview.
Before the show, you mentioned some people have dreadlocks.
Yes.
And it might be that instead of just having your hair, all over the place, just pull it back.
Okay.
Just even whatever your hairstyle maybe has to be at the moment, whatever stage you're going through in your hair, you've had a bad haircut, whatever the case may be.
Yes, ma'am.
Just try to make it look the best it can for you and be conservative with it.
Okay.
What about fingernails?
Oh, now this is my area, and I don't. Okay.
Yes, you always have cute fingernails.
Yes, and they're different colors.
But remember on a job interview, that's really cute today. I love it, by the way. But for a job interview, ladies typically want to look clean and neat.
Okay.
Okay, so not too long, maybe medium length
Okay.
to short. Polish is suitable. Typically, I have on bright red today, which that's my ASU color. But I've already gotten a job.
Yes,
If I
ma'am.
were going on a job interview, I would probably go with a clear, maybe a French manicure.
Okay.
Or something very neutral, light and neutral. So again, you want to keep it simple.
Okay. Because you don't want you don't want the interviewer's eyes to draw on anything that's bold and bright and just distract away from the actual interview and listening to your skills.
Exactly. Because remember, you're wanting to make that 5 seconds to make a first impression.
Okay.
So if you're shaking hands and you have fingernails that really stand out,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
going to be distracting.
Okay.
What about makeup? Really important for ladies.
Yes.
But yes, you can wear makeup. You're safe. Just keep it natural looking.
Okay.
Keep it natural looking. Just like your hair, you want a natural looking color, natural looking makeup. So maybe avoid the bright blue eyeshadow or the really bright red lipsticks. Just keep it natural looking.
And what about, now I see a lot, and I don't even dare take the time to do it, but women do a lot of the contouring, highlighting, and bronzing, and the whole 9 yards, and the eyebrows are like really Photoshop ready. The whole, would you suggest toning that down just a little bit?
You're over my pay grade.
Huh?
So yeah, I can't keep up with all that highlighting and bronzing and stuff. Just a nice foundation color that matches your skin tone. Kind of keep maybe earthy tones.
Okay.
A neutral looking lipstick.
Okay.
Eyeshadow. I don't know if you can see mine on the radio today, but it's just a really neutral color, so it doesn't really stand out.
Okay. No wild lashes.
No. Again, you want to get the job.
Get the job. Yes, ma'am.
Get the job. So, any other questions on appearance?
Well, okay.
We're going to get to some posture and body language in a moment. But anything else maybe about hair or suits? Or?
Well, on attire, I did want to bring up, some people think, okay, like with your suit, some women may want to wear a t-shirt style, either cami, tank, or something. Does the choice of fabrics make a difference?
I think it just needs to look professional.
Okay.
Because I have some that are different materials.
Okay.
But some of them have a tendency to look a little more professional than others.
Okay.
You probably would not want to wear a t-shirt.
Okay.
But if you're wearing a cami that's maybe t-shirt type material, sometimes it depends on how it's made.
Okay.
So that's kind of a judgment call maybe. I would recommend though for ladies that you want to make sure your skirt's long enough and your top is high enough.
Okay, so nothing's spilling out either way or the other. And when women test their skirts by sitting down, maybe crossing. Okay, I guess we're getting to body language a little. I'll save that one. Okay.
Yeah, let's make a note to talk about.
Also with attire, I know we have been talking about if someone wants to go into a professional on this interview, and we're going to get ready for a break here soon, but I want to throw this in. If it's something that's not, corporate, blue jean material, denim material, but trouser cut. And when we can address that when we come back.
Okay.
So denim material, trouser cut pants, and blazers and things of that nature. All right, so you've been tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Do you struggle to be patient? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Patience has always been one of my biggest struggles. Can you relate? If so, here are 3 ways to help you practice patience. First, understand what triggers impatience. Impatience often occurs when we don't get what we want when we want it. There are a couple of things that can trigger it. We get impatient when circumstances don't conform to our expectations. Long lines at stores, traffic jams, and flight delays can all be culprits. Impatience also rears its ugly head when people don't conform to our expectations. We get frustrated when people don't behave like we think they should behave. For the rest of the 3 ways to practice patience, visit my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
KLEK wishes to thank Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping our community through difficult times in life, such as depression, family issues, stress, and more. They are located at 1217 Stone Street, 1-866-972-1268. Details at lscihelp.com and at klekfm.org.
Post Consumer Brands is seeking to hire 5 operators at their Jonesboro facility. Post offers good starting pay, 3 weeks of paid vacation, comprehensive benefits, 401k with employee match, and frontline incentives, while working 4 days on and 4 days off. More information is available at jobs.postconsumerbrands.com. Post Consumer Brands is an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, I'm Officer Jonathan Hagens of the Jonesboro Police Department. One of the best decisions I ever made was to join the Jonesboro Police Department. Since joining, I've had the pleasure to give back, protect, and serve my community. Now I want to let you know about that same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing for the patrol officers at the Valley View High School. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information, 870-935-5657.
Applications are being accepted through September 7th, 2017. Applications are available at jonesboropolice.com. Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, under the direction of Bishop Adrian Rogers and co-pastor Susan Rogers. www.fjministries.org.
From the KLEK Community Calendar, Bethesda Worship and Healing Center presents Community Back to School event, August 12th, 2017, from 8 o'clock a.m. until 2 o'clock p.m. This event will take place at Parker Park in Jonesboro. There will be school supplies, food, haircuts, drinks, entertainment, and basketball games provided. There will also be members of the police department, local pastors, the fire department, and other members of the community present. There will also be a 3-point shootout, a dunk contest, and more. More information on donating school supplies and about this event is available at Daddy's Choice Barbershop, 2301 East Johnson Avenue in Jonesboro, Bethesda Worship and Healing Center, 2215 North Church Street, or at 870-761-4480.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with Dr. Karen McDaniel from Arkansas State University. She's from the College of Business. Now, what classes do you teach exactly?
I teach in our MBA program, so I teach graduate level organizational behavior, and then I teach a graduate leadership course.
Okay. Switch that. Okay, so we're gonna get back into our conversation, but we do have a few shout outs from Natalie SU. She says, "Yay, Doctor!" She says, "Yay, Dr. Karen." I want to say thank you to Mr. David Nunez and Officer Nathan Coben for checking in on our live stream. So,
good morning, everybody.
All right. So, if you have any questions or comments, please drop us a message, or if you would like to give us a call, the phone lines are open at 870-277-1080. When we finished up, we were talking about attire, and so I think we've kind of exhausted that topic. And again, Dr. McDaniel mentioned it depends on what type of job you're going into, what type of business you're interviewing for.
Right, so the examples I gave you before the break was, typically in my position I help recent graduates or recent graduate students who are going out into the workforce. But I also do some HR consulting for the McDaniel law firm.
Okay.
So we've hired many administrative assistants and legal assistants over the years. So we have a range from a few have more in business suits.
Okay.
But nice slacks and a nice blouse for ladies, and for men maybe a nice shirt, tie or no tie, just as long as you want to look professional and you want to look nice. So it depends. You want to research the position. And if it's a more formal position, you might want to wear the business suit.
Okay.
But if it's not quite as much so, then just you want to look like your best self.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that. All right. So next we're going to move into
the handshake.
Handshake and other body language.
Exactly.
Body language things.
We started with a formula for success. It takes 5 seconds to make a first impression.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happens in that first 5 seconds? Well, we've talked about the attire.
Yes.
The way you look is the first thing they see. What is the next thing? You shake hands.
Okay.
You introduce yourself. So when you shake hands, you want to shake right hand.
Okay.
Always your right hand. Even if you're left-handed people, your right hand.
Sorry, left-handed people.
Because most people are right-handed.
Okay.
So you want to shake from the elbow. Okay. 2 smooth pumps.
Okay.
You don't want to crush someone's hand. So some people are very strong, and if you are one of those people who have a really strong grip, just try to be conscientious that there may be other men and women who are not quite as strong. So just a nice firm handshake, not a crusher.
Okay.
And please don't do the wet fish. You don't want to grab the fingertips.
I have felt that before.
That is not a very professional handshake.
Okay.
You also don't want to do what's called the glove, where you grip with 2
my.
hands. Now, if you are friends and you've established a nice business relationship and you've known the person for a long time, that might be a different story.
Okay.
But remember, we're going on an interview. We want to make a good first impression today.
Yes, ma'am.
So just 1 hand, right hand, 2 palms from the elbow. Don't crush. You don't want to be too soft.
Okay.
Just a nice, firm, professional handshake.
Okay.
And you know what? It's a good idea to practice that.
Okay.
So if you have a friend, someone who works in the business world, ask them to help you a little bit.
Okay.
You want to make sure, because a lot of people think they have a good handshake, but they don't. You also don't want to shake it too hard.
Okay.
Or, you don't want to be floppy. You don't want to continue you don't want to keep pumping.
Okay.
That becomes awkward.
Yes.
Right?
Like, okay, just Sit down, please.
Now you ask about body language. Your posture is very important.
Okay.
You want to sit up straight. Okay? You don't want to have your arms closed. If you have your arms closed like this, I'm looking at the camera. This is closed. This is a closed position. This says that you are not very approachable. That you may be insecure, or it could be perceived as maybe you're bad, or it's a closed position.
Okay.
So you want to be open. You want to have your arms open. Also, if you watch the Dr. Amy Cuddy video I mentioned earlier, if you just go on YouTube and search for Dr. Amy Cuddy, she talks about being open, and it projects confidence.
So instead of being more...
You don't want to droop. You want to be open and shoulders back. Just a nice, good posture. Okay. Now, for ladies, as much as we love to cross our legs, if you're in the interview, try to just keep maybe your ankles crossed, or keep your feet just close together and your legs together. Just get through the interview. Okay. Because, right now I'm naturally crossing my legs. Just be confident, and it's really important to be open. Okay. Because if you start drooping your shoulders or you're crossing your arms, it makes you look insecure, nervous. Remember that word that we never tell ourselves again?
We're not nervous, we're confident. Yes. Now what about cupping your hands, maybe if you're at a table?
I would keep hands in the lap.
Okay, so,
If you're talking with someone and you want to make a point, and you can use your hands to talk, you can to make a point, exaggerate a point, but you don't want to use your hands too much.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that because I tend to,
if you're wanting to, that is a great point. But this was something that was really important to me, and then put it back down. You don't want to keep doing it.
And so that goes all the way back to that 21 days to start a pattern and 100 days to
become automatic.
So start, when you know that you're about to enter the workforce, start practicing those little social cues that could be a nuisance. Right. I know one of my biggest ones that people point out is I giggle. I have this little giggle. It's a nervous kind of tick.
I think we all have one. we probably all have one. I had to be very conscientious about some of the things that I used to do. One common one that I've noticed is a lot of people, when they're nervous, they go, and then when I say that, and I caution my students not to do that, then it gets stuck in my head, and I catch myself saying it. So I have to make a conscious effort not to say,
So is it about just being confident in the silence? Some people don't like that, little pause, that silence. So they try to fill it with that,
But do you know that silence can project confidence? Because if you're silent for just a moment, it gives you a second to collect your thoughts. But the other person thinks, oh wow, what is she about to say?
Okay. And what about, and I'm sorry I'm diverting a little bit, but someone maybe feels that they misspoke, messed up, and you outwardly express the acknowledgement of your, oh shoot, I'm sorry. Let me start over. Tell us about how to handle those type of situations.
Well, we all make mistakes.
Okay.
I think just don't make a big deal about it.
Okay.
So I misspoke. Let me restate that.
Okay.
Just keep it simple. We're all human. I think most people know that. But if you're making a really big deal out of it, it might become a little unprofessional.
Okay.
But just if you've made a mistake, you know what? I just misspoke. Let me rephrase that, or let me restate that.
Okay.
I think if you just handle it professionally is the important part.
Okay.
One thing we haven't discussed is eye contact.
Yes,
Remember that 5 seconds to make a first impression? We talked about dress, posture, handshake. Eye contact is important. You're looking at the floor while you're doing all of this. It's probably going to make you look a little insecure. If you're staring someone right in the eyeballs, that might be a little awkward too, right? But you want to have eye contact. So if you look at the forehead,
okay,
just, right in here, let me look at the camera, just right in the forehead. It looks like you're looking the person in the eye, but it's not completely awkward for either of you.
Okay.
So right at the forehead, and it keeps you from being nervous.
I know that was one of my, oh my gosh, some years ago I had the hardest time looking people in their face, because I was a little less confident about who I was, my abilities or whatever. And until I started working here, I realized, okay, they're just people. They may have a different profession.
Right.
Had this been a year ago, I would have been nervous talking to you because you are a doctor, professor. But now, okay, no, I'm not on your level professionally, but at the same time, I'm more confident in my abilities. So, yes, that's very important.
What about your facial expression?
Ooh.
I had a former student in my office a few weeks ago when we were talking about this. He's a very serious student, or former student, very serious. I used to be a very serious person, and I still am, but I had to learn to lighten it a little bit.
Okay.
And smile.
It's okay to smile.
When you go into an interview, you really want to nail it. You're really concentrating, but if you have this really serious look on your face,
Growl or...
it's great to be intense about some things you talk about, but you also want to remember, okay, deep breath, and let's just a smile, a nice smile. You want to have a nice facial expression.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you're very serious, it might could come across as you're in a bad mood or you're nervous. That's a nervous tick.
Get rid of that nervous word.
Yeah, so just be a little animated, not overly, but just put a little inflection in your voice. We'll talk about that in a minute. You asked about speech and voice. But the non-verbals are so important.
Okay.
The verbal communication clearly is important, but the non-verbals send out typically that first 5 seconds.
Wow.
Make sure though, let's go to a little bit of verbal. When you've got the dress, the eye contact, the posture, the handshake. Now how do you introduce yourself? Hello, my name is Karen McDaniel. Nice to meet you. You want to be confident, project your voice. Hello, my name is Karen.
Okay.
It's sweet. It sounds really sweet, but it also sounds a little insecure if you're going on a job interview. You want to go in with confidence, a strong voice. You don't want to go in and shout.
Okay.
But just a nice, confident voice. Hello. You don't want to say, hey. That's... If you were going to talk to your best buddy, that would be great.
Okay.
But again, you're going on a job interview. You want to be a little more formal. Hello, my name is Karen McDaniel.
Now, what about for individuals? And maybe I pick up on this because my ears are more sensitive. People who naturally speak in an amplified tone, and I'm not going to demonstrate it here. People say I talk too softly, but a lot of it has to do with my hearing. I can hear fairly well. So my voice is lower, and I prefer a more lower, even tone. But I have encountered some people who talk naturally. They're just, and I don't know if it comes from they live in a house with a lot of people and they have to talk loud. I don't know what the case is, but...
Well, there's probably a lot of different cases. Some people don't hear well, so they speak very loud because they don't hear well, and they don't realize they're talking that loud. Some people have a personality type that's maybe a little more dominant, and that's their style.
Okay.
But that type person needs to, if they're on an interview, just tone it down just a little.
Oh.
Just a little. Because you want to come across as your natural self, but you also want to come across as professional, so you have to find that balance.
Okay. So would you suggest that someone that's preparing for an interview, no matter what type of job it is, they need to find a friend or someone who's done that
Absolutely.
before to do several practice runs of an interview?
Yes, but let's define friend. Let's find one that has been through it successfully, been through a job interview successfully, maybe in a similar type position.
Now, are there any professional services available that will let you do mock interview, that will run through mock interviews with you?
I have some for my students.
Okay.
But typically what I do is I ask people in the community to come to campus or to do Skype interviews.
Okay.
That might be easier for some working professionals. But people who interview frequently, I have them team up with a student and just do a quick mock interview.
Okay.
And then that's a nice way to the first trial. You're practicing for 21 days these new skills.
Okay.
That's one good way to figure out what it is you're doing wrong, because the person can tell you, but it's a safe environment because you're not really on an interview.
Okay.
You're practicing for an interview. But the more you practice, remember, prepare.
And
So important.
I'm glad you brought up the Skype, and we hopefully we have time before the interview is over. I have a friend that recently did an interview via Skype because he was applying out of state, and so that might have to be a whole other interview within itself. Skype interview or video interview etiquette as well. So we can get to. Hopefully we can get to that. Look, I don't want to run out of time with what you already have prepared.
Okay. So yeah, let's keep a note and come back to that. So you asked, before I got here, you asked about speech. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Making sure you have good volume. We mentioned, not being too soft or not too loud. So you kind of want to adjust it to, and maybe the type of room that you're in. If you're in a small office and sitting close like you and I, might be different as if you're in a conference room and you're interviewing with 4 or 5 different people for the job.
Okay.
Then you might need to talk a little louder or project your voice a little more.
Okay.
Be careful with the pitch of your voice. If it's too high or too low, you want a nice kind of be in the middle, conservative. Lower voices are often perceived as more confident and powerful.
Okay.
So how do ladies work on that? Deep breath. The breathing is so important. It can help lower your voice.
Okay.
So the pitch at which you speak, the rate at which you speak.
Oh, wow.
So would it be easier to hear me if I was talking like this so fast that you could barely tell what I was saying?
Oh, that would drive me. If I'm doing,
Well, you're going to miss something, right?
If I'm conducting an interview, I'm like, can you please slow down?
Yeah, just slow down a little bit. Remember, take a deep breath. The breathing is really important in your voice. You also don't want to talk too slow. Have you ever been in maybe a class in the past where the professor talks so slow?
Just get to the point.
Yeah, nice, in the middle. My husband has a saying, like when he's doing depositions, that sometimes he'll ask a question and he'll want to know what time it is, but instead of the person answering and saying what time it is, they build a clock. They tell you how to build a clock. You don't want to build a clock. You want to make your case.
Yes.
You want to present yourself, and when they ask you a question, that you can answer it. But provide some evidence and answer it, but maybe not go into a long history of things. Get to the point.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
What about inflection? You want to vary it just a little bit. You don't want to be so serious the entire time.
Okay.
You want to throw out something, a little light that shows you're human.
No.
You don't want to be a robot.
I'm glad you brought that up as well. Some people, because, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word again, nervous, they try to throw in too much, either personal or too many anecdotes or too many funny things in the midst of the interview, and then it can get a little awkward.
Yes, remember you're on a professional interview. You're trying to sell yourself. So I would recommend you want to be serious. You want to come across as confident and professional, but you can also, instead of trying to be funny, show excitement. Okay. I am really excited about this opportunity. Something simple as that. You're showing some desire, a little bit of emotion. You're smiling, but you're showing that you're really interested in the position.
Okay.
What about articulation?
Ooh.
This one's hard, especially if you're from the South. Yes? When I worked in Virginia for a couple of years.
Okay.
And when I first moved there, they had trouble understanding my accent because I was from West Tennessee, similar to Arkansas. So I started picking up on their language, like their articulation was quite different. Instead of own, it was on. It was caramel versus caramel.
Oh my goodness.
So lots of little things like that. When I moved back to Tennessee, I was working about an hour from where I grew up, and my students asked me, "Where are you from?" I said, "Lexington, Tennessee." They didn't believe me. Because I had lost the southern accent because I lived in Virginia for a couple of years. But I learned something that they articulate a little differently there. Now, they have clearly different pronunciations on some words there.
Okay.
But it helped me be conscientious about trying to to articulate. In the South, some people have a tendency to talk too slow or not completely pronounce the word, like fixing to instead of
yes, ma'am.
little things like that. So be careful not to say, well, I'm thinking about it.
Thinking.
You know,
Y'all is my nemesis. I say y'all.
Yes, that's a common Southern word. And you know what? When I left Virginia, that's one that I had overcome. You all. It takes about 2 seconds more.
Yes, I
you
do.
all. But it sounds so much more professional.
Yes, ma'am.
So just remember, when you're on the interview, practice this. If you have a tendency to speak with a Southern drawl or in acronyms, whatever the case may be,
Okay.
try to practice that.
All right.
Pause.
We're getting ready for another break.
Ready for
Wow.
a pause.
I can't believe this conversation is really rolling along. I'm really enjoying this. You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with Dr. Karen McDaniel from Arkansas State University. You can still drop us a message on our Facebook live stream or give us a call here in the studio. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Regardless of the reason you apply for credit, the last thing you want is for your application to be rejected. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling provides reasons a credit card application could be declined, along with the steps you can take to correct the problem. Not enough existing credit. What to do? Judiciously build credit, perhaps starting with a secured credit card, but confirm in advance that the issuer reports all activity to the credit bureaus. Now, suppose you have poor payment history. The highest weighted element in the scoring model is how a person repays his or her debt and obligations. A history of skipped or late payments can knock you out of consideration. What to do? Identify any issues by obtaining your credit report for free at annualcreditreport.com. Next, start making payments on all accounts. This builds a positive credit history and helps to establish creditworthiness. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Blues Live for 5, Part 2 at Legends Barbecue Smokehouse. Only $5 admission. Saturday, August 19th, 7 o'clock p.m. Featuring from Dallas, Texas, Lerone Powers.
What's the name of that thing? Put on me last night.
Lerone Powers.
And here's the mother, but don't get caught. You're gonna have to pay the cost.
Performing all of his hits.
Ain't nothing but a party. Jumping like a hole in the wall.
Lerone Powers. Don't miss it. Blues Live for 5 at Legends Barbecue Smokehouse. Saturday, August 19th, 7 o'clock p.m. Only $5 admission. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center, offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. The all-new Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, jonesboro.com.
Arkansas Early Learning is accepting applications right now for childcare. We have locations all across Northeast Arkansas. Applications online at arearlylearning.org. That's arearlylearning.org. Right here in the community at no cost. Arkansas Early Learning, offering kids a head start.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
Did you know KLEK has a brand new streaming app? That's right, you can listen to KLEK 102.5 FM anywhere in the world. The app is available for all Android phones and tablets, as well as iPhones and iPads. Just search your app store for KLEK and download the KLEK app for free today. And don't miss a beat of the education, entertainment, and empowerment on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We were having such a great conversation off air, I almost missed my time. Okay, so Dr. Kaylee, we're going to get ready to wrap up. We have, several moments left, and I want to give you as much time as possible, so I'm going to let you have the floor.
Okay.
We're going to finish up with voice, and then move into the follow-up of the interview.
Yeah, I have 2 more points on voice. One thing is to pause.
Okay.
It's a very effective technique to add interest. It sounds like it just adds a little intrigue. So instead of going, just pause. Because it signals to the other person, oh, she's about to say something interesting.
Okay.
Avoid garbage language like the
Okay.
Like.
Oh my gosh.
Avoid those. Because I know some young people have a tendency, we did that last week, So you want to avoid that, and you don't want to, whether it's the word like or, whatever it is, you don't want to be too repetitive with one word.
Okay.
So any other questions on voice?
No, that was really great fun. I never thought about that.
So off the air, we were talking about interview questions. See, I just said I don't want to do that. When I talk about don't say it, then it gets stuck in my head.
Yes, ma'am.
We were talking about interview questions. I think we need to do a follow-up this fall, and we could spend a whole hour on types of interview questions, how to answer them. And I was also stating to you, our students can go online to astate.edu.
Okay.
We have a career services website.
Okay.
And they have a list of common interview questions and tips on interviewing, so it can recap some of the things we've talked about today. And then maybe I can come back later in the fall and you and I maybe can do a mock interview.
Yes, please.
We need to practice a little beforehand so we do a good job.
Yes, I would love to make this a fall series. Just all things interviewing, and there are a lot of people who need this information. There are people who are outside of the college realm that are still looking for jobs, and so they have a lot of skills. They just need to find the right job. They need to find the right fit for their skills, and so they're trying to polish up their resume and polish up their, personal.
Right. Well, whatever position you're interviewing for, the technique is typically the same because you're wanting to make that first good impression. You want to sell yourself and talk about your skills and how you're a good fit for the company.
Okay.
So you're still going to need to research the company. You need to look professional. You need to know how to articulate your voice and not talk too fast or too slow. All the things we talked about, you still need to know how to do. It might vary slightly, but you still need to do that. Another thing you need to do is once you finish the interview, you need to write a thank you note.
Okay.
It is not a dying art.
Okay.
Do you like to receive a handwritten thank you?
I really do.
It's really just a nice gesture. A lot of people don't do it. And remember that stack of applications or resumes,
Yes.
however big that you want to be that notch above.
That's
So
right.
when you leave, you have a thank you card in your car or as soon as you get home. Go ahead and write it so you don't forget. Get it in the mail that day or the next day because you want to keep it fresh on their mind. They may be making a decision by the end of the week or early in the following week, so you want it to get there in time.
Yes, ma'am.
In snail mail. So you want to just a simple little thank you for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm really excited about the possibility of this position. You want to be confident, but not overly confident. Show some excitement in the position. And then you and I talked about some other future sessions.
Yes,
we may want
ma'am.
to talk about a whole session on resumes.
Yes, ma'am. Like A resume can make or break. I've been in a position where I've had to look over a resume. Sometimes you can put too much stuff or be too wordy.
Or not wordy enough.
Yes. So, I mean, even if you have only had a few jobs, that's fine. Or if you only went to one school, that's fine. But make that shine as best as possible.
Exactly. And one thing quickly on resumes, don't have typos.
Oh, gosh.
I told you I do HR for the law firm, and we'll have a stack of resumes, and as I'm going through them, if they're not in the proper format, they haven't taken the time to pay attention to details. One of the job description components is pay attention to details. So if you haven't done it in your resume, you're probably in the no stack.
Okay.
Maybe in the maybe stack, depending on how bad the typo is, right?
So you all just going to have to stay tuned and be on the lookout for that show. We're definitely going to do a resume show.
I like the dining etiquette also, because sometimes when you go on an interview, they take you out for a meal.
Yes.
It's very important.
Now, and then sometimes it may be after hours, so then we need to definitely talk about drinking and different things during the interview.
On an interview, don't do it.
Okay.
That's my advice.
Don't do it.
Some people would say maybe have one drink, but my advice is just don't do it. You're there to sell yourself, not to have a good time.
We're not gonna give away everything that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna just stay tuned this fall. We're gonna have a series of topics coming your way from the College of Business.
I'm excited about that.
Yes, ma'am. I can't thank you enough for coming today.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy coming and talking with you and LaGanzi.
Thank you. So within our last minute and a half, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to give?
Well, I mentioned that you could go to our Career Services website and look over common interview questions. That might be something to prep some of the listeners today for one of our future. Maybe they have some questions about it. You have a list, but it doesn't tell you how to answer them. So maybe we can talk about how to properly address some of those in the future.
All right. Now, and also I wanted to make sure people, jot this down. 5 seconds to make a first impression, 21 days to start a pattern, and 100 days for it to become automatic. So start practicing now. Pay attention to your little personal tics. Delete the word nervous from your vocabulary.
Yes, and prepare.
Prepare like it's nobody's business.
Yes.
When you're getting ready to take an exam, you prepare. You read and you study, take practice tests, answer practice questions.
And you need to take that word out of your head, nervous. No more nervous. That's hard to do.
I would advise, everybody has a cell phone or something. Video yourself practicing.
That's a good idea.
Your interview, and
I do that with my students. When they do presentations or mock interviews, I record them so we can go back and look at them. I've had to do that with myself in the past.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes you just don't realize what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to start I'm going to start practicing that. Even for this job, even though I'm behind the scenes, I'm kind of... Anyway, I can't thank you enough for coming. Join us tomorrow for another segment of Community Conversations. I hope everyone has a very blessed day.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while